We move to the next question, which is slightly different than what we just you spoke on. You have mentioned, and according to you, there are two distinct eras in the Supreme Court, and you mentioned about the Subba Rao era and Krishna Iyer era.
Yes.
While in the book you have very clearly explained this, but for the viewers here also, would you like to inform them about this Subba Rao era and the Krishna Iyer era?
You see, these eras I have singled out as, and it has something to do with a lecture that I had delivered many years ago. And that lecture is called the CK Daphtari Memorial Lecture, way back in April, 1st April 1987. Long ago.
Almost 4 decades.
Yes, 4 decades. And CK Daphtari was India's second most distinguished Attorney General, who took our office after the retirement of MC Sethuwat, India's first Attorney General. And the lecture is titled The Judiciary and the Role of the Pathfinders. I have elaborated on the role of two of India's great judges, what I believe are great judges. The past Justice Subba Rao, who was a judge from the Supreme Court of India from January 58 to June 66, but he was also a very distinguished Chief Justice of India from June 66 to April 67, just for a few months, even under a year. But he's altered the whole vista of jurisprudence, in my view, during those 8 or 9 months that he was Chief Justice. And therefore, the other judge who I've said was a pathfinder was Justice Krishna Iyer. From July 73 to November 1980, he was a judge of the Supreme Court of India. And according to me, these were the two most learned and most compassionate of justices that I had experienced. And you must, if you want to read this memorial lecture, if the students wish to read it, a copy of it I will hand over to you.
That will be very nice.
So that you can distribute it for whenever you like. And it will give a bird's eye view of the history of our Supreme Court, which will be very interesting for your listeners. And I just give you a snippet of what I said in my introduction. This is what I said. In the northern hemisphere, there is a constellation in the sky which is visible at this time of the year, exactly this time, which is November, December. Astronomers call it the Ursa Major, more popularly known as the Great Bear. The constellation includes 7 bright stars. And in Indian astronomy, these stars represent the 7 rishis, the Saptarishi. 2 of them are pointers. They show the way, the path, and they point to the pole star. In the judicial firmament, these past 75 years, there have been many bright and brilliant stars amongst our judges. But what I would call the pathfinders have been few. I can name 2, Chief Justice Subba Rao and Justice Krishna Iyer. Others have written judgments as lucid and learned. For instance, some of the judgments of Justice Vivian Bose, of Chief Justice S.R. Das, and of the brilliant and versatile Justice P.B. Gajendra Gadkar are now legendary. Then they adorn the law reports. And it's a tribute to these gentlemen that some of their judgments are still read for instruction and pleasure. But the 2 pointers, the Saptarishi, Subba Rao and Krishna Iyer, were different because they influence creative judicial thinking in others. They lighted up new and difficult paths which other judges followed.
Was there any significant direction when you talk of Subba Rao era and Krishna Iyer, also which they took, about which you may say
yes,
a few
you
words.
see, what happened was, because I experienced all that, there were these two judges, Subba Rao as well as Krishna Iyer, were attempted to be imitated by successor judges.
Okay.
Sometimes they imitated the style, they tried to imitate the intellect.
Yes.
Sometimes they succeeded, sometimes they didn't. But therefore they were the pathfinders. They were the people who showed the way. And that's why I think our jurisprudence has become the better for it.
But I would also like to further find out that what was the main concern of Subba Rao and the main concern emphasis of Krishna Iyer?
The concern of Subba Rao was fundamental rights.
Fundamental rights, okay.
And he said that what is the point of saying that they are fundamental?
Yes.
If they are not fundamental to the Constitution itself.
Okay.
And that's why he said, that's why his judgment in Golak, that's why his judgment in Golak Nath,
yes,
which was a majority judgment, 6-5, which said that the unamendable part of the Constitution are the fundamental rights.
Okay.
Because what else can it be? I mean, that was a logical way, although that decision was overruled in Keshavananda.
Yes.
But that was his
that is what he pointed out.
And therefore there were many people, many judges who followed him, who had that view.
That view prevailed over decades,
a long period.
Long period. And Krishna Iyer?
Krishna Iyer, because of his peculiar language.
Okay.
Yes. If he couldn't find an appropriate word, he'd invent it.
Okay. But he also went for social justice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's why they were the two great judges in our time. Great judges.
Right. Thanks. Here we end this video, and we would first talk about Justice C.S. Karnan, the law of contempt and other matters.